What's good, everyone? As you can see by the title, I'm doing every single Premier League club's star player for the 2021-22 season. Now, some of these are going to be very obvious. I'm going to go for some very obvious star players in certain teams. But there are going to be some teams where I go for people who I don't think many people would have put or expect to do that well this season. But you know, I thought it'd be something different. Not every player is necessarily going to be an attacking player, guys. It could be a holding midfielder, a defensive midfielder, maybe even a defender. So a goalkeeper, I don't know. We'll have to see when we get around to the teams. But before we get into it, guys, if you're liking this content, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, hit the bell notification so you don't miss content like these football videos or other content I'm doing within movies, TV series, and other content upcoming soon on my channel. So yeah, if you're liking it, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But having said that, let's get into every single Premier League club best player. Let's do it. Arsenal, the player I think who will stand out the most next season, I think will be Nicolas Pepe. 15 goals and 60 appearances in the Premier League. Not too bad for a winger, of course. Yeah, when he first came to Arsenal, I wasn't too sure on him. But to be honest, if we're basing his last season, I know Arsenal haven't had the greatest of the last couple of seasons, but I thought he really, when he did play, I thought he was really good. He made a really good impact. Whether it was him starting or him coming off the bench for Bukayo Saka, which they did a lot on that right-hand side last season. Yeah, I think he's got a lot to offer this season for Arsenal in the Premier League. I think he will be their best player this season. So yeah, for Aston Villa, it's got to be the new signing, Eddie Buendia, fuck's sake. I can never say it. But yeah, Buendia. One of the main reasons Norwich got promoted back to the Premier League. We all know what an unbelievable midfielder he is. Yeah, he's brilliant. He really is. I think he will suit Aston Villa's style of play very, very well. He'll slot in there very easily. So yeah, he goes in there for me for Aston Villa. Kind of an obvious one, but there's going to be a few obvious ones in this video. So Brentford's obvious one again, Ivan Toney. Let's be real, it's going to be Ivan Toney. There's not going to be anyone else. It's Ivan Toney. 25 goals in League One for Peterborough, 32 goals in the Championship, breaking records for Brentford. The numbers speak for itself, really. It's a joke, really, how much he scored last season. I couldn't believe it. Brighton, I think, will be the right back or wing back Lamptey. I think he is amazing. Very, very good prospect for England in the future. I know he has made, he was called up for the England under-21s, which is fantastic. His pace is unbelievable. I remember the end of the season before last. The season before last. You know, you were hearing teams like Bayern Munich having interest in him, and you can just see why he's unbelievable. And I think the more game time he'll get, I think give it 1 or 2 seasons, he'll be unbelievable. But I think if he can get full game time this season in the Premier League, he will be not unstoppable, but you know, he's not going to be far off it. So that's him for Brighton. For Burnley, kind of obvious, Dwight McNeil. Again, great player. He's quite versatile. Burnley play him a lot on the left, but they have played him in central midfield as well for a little bit of last season. Amazing left foot. He can bang the ball in. I mean, he is brilliant. I really rate Dwight McNeil. So I think he will be Burnley's star player for sure this season. Chelsea, I think, will be Mason Mount. Chelsea was a hard one because there's a few who I think could prove something this season if they get game time. But I can kind of guarantee Mason Mount will get game time if there's no injuries for himself. So you can kind of see. I think if Christian Pulisic was guaranteed time, I would have maybe said him. But I'm not really sure he's guaranteed time next season. So I'm going to go with Mason Mount for Chelsea. Crystal Palace, obvious one. It's going to have to be Wilfried Zaha. I was going to go with Eze, but I'm not really too sure what's going on with his injury. If he's fine and he's back now, I'm not sure. But either way, he took a 6-month injury. You know, it's not easy to come back from. So he's going to have to, you know, rebuild himself up. I think Wilfried Zaha is obviously by far the best player at Crystal Palace. It's not even a doubt about it. He is definitely the best player at Crystal Palace. So yeah, he goes there for me. Everton. I'm not going to say Dominic Calvert-Lewin was a one-season wonder, but I do not think he's going to have as good of a season this season as he did last. James Rodriguez, I could see doing fairly okay, like fairly good. I don't know if Moise Kean is going to get much game time. So another obvious one, Richarlison. He seems to be fairly consistent, and even during his bad periods and his bad forms, he still plays a big part in the team. So yeah, Richarlison for me. Leeds, obvious one, Patrick Bamford, straight up. Great team. I love the squad, but he is, yeah, really good. I think he should have gone to the Euros, but it is what it is. Great player. I think if you're football fans, you know, we've known he's been a good striker for a few years now. But unfortunately, he didn't really get showcased in the Premier League, and I'm glad he did last season, and I hope he does the same this season. So for Leicester, this was difficult as well. I thought Fofana had a shout in there. I think James Justin had a little shout in there as well. I think he's really good. But yeah, obvious one I'm going to go for is James Maddison. A mad midfielder. He's going to be ridiculous, I think, this season. I think Leicester will be top 6, and I think he will have a big part in them being top 6 this season. That's all I can say on that. Liverpool. Look, of course, the whole squad is ridiculous as well. But I really do think Sadio Mane will have a great season. I think he'll come in something to prove. He knows he had a bad season last season. And he wasn't, you know, he wasn't terrible. I don't think he's as bad as some people were saying. He just wasn't him, like, you know, I don't know what it was. Obviously, he had a poor season. It wasn't the worst I've ever seen. But he could have definitely done a lot better. And I don't know whether it was to do with confidence, if he had a family situation, or if it was just simply a bad season. I don't know. But he's a very consistent player. We all know what a player he can be on his day. I think he'll be amazing this season for Liverpool. So, that's Liverpool. So for Manchester City, I think Ferran Torres, I think he will be ridiculous this season. Towards the end of last season, we saw glimpses of what he could do. Scored that ridiculous goal. I forgot who it was again. Maybe Newcastle, if it was, but it was a mad goal. But that's not what I'm basing it off. Basing it off of his general play. He makes an impact when he comes off of Man City. I mean, he really is the reason why they start to dominate the last third quarter of the game. So, yeah, really good player. I think he'll dominate this season for Man City. And I know I would have said Raheem Sterling, because I think he'll come in with something to prove. But then again, we all know he had a fairly poor season last season. His future's a bit unsure. City obviously bidding 100 million for Jack Grealish. So yeah, I'm not going to go Raheem Sterling. I'll go with Ferran Torres. For Manchester United, I'm not going to go Jadon Sancho, because that's too obvious one. So I'm going to go for Edinson Cavani. Didn't expect him to do as good last season as what he did. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think he was really going to find his feet in the Premier League as quick as he did. Took him a few games, and he's just popping in goals. I think he'll do the same this season. He signed another year extension contract to Manchester United. 100%. Well, I don't see why not. He'll do the same this season, and he'll have a full season if fit to do so. So, yep, he goes in there for me for Manchester United. Newcastle, I'm not going to lie, it was a bit of a weird one, like, because no matter the situation of the clubs and where I think they'll finish, like, I've got to say someone who I think will do really well for them throughout the season. I would just say Callum Wilson, plain and simple. Striker, will score you goals. That's all I've got on Newcastle. I can't see. There is Alan St. Maximum, but for me, he's overrated. He's very good. He's very, very good. Let me point that out. He's very good. I would definitely take him at Watford, but he is overrated, and I don't think he'll have that good of a season. I think Callum Wilson will definitely bag the most goals, and I think it will be a standard season for Newcastle, finishing just above relegation zone. Norwich, I think Todd Cantwell. I think he will be really, really good in the Premier League. I think he's proven to be fairly good in the Premier League. He's not a proven Premier League player, but I'm saying, like, we've seen him do very good things in the Premier League for Norwich. And yeah, they got relegated that season. I thought he was one of the standout players that season. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's quite underrated. I don't think he's spoke about enough. So yeah, he goes in there for me for Norwich. Southampton, it's got to be James Ward-Prowse. I don't see me picking anyone else. He's not only the best free kick taker in the whole of the Premier League, or in this country, he's the best free kick taker, but very good midfielder. Some of the through balls and the crosses he does to assist goals is ridiculous. If De Bruyne done what he does, which he does, people talk about De Bruyne a lot. James Ward-Prowse doesn't get the mentions that he deserves. He gets spoken about for his free kicks, which is of course fair enough. But he can do some really mad 50-yard through balls and get assists, and no one really talks about it. They just say, oh, that was a good ball. But very underrated midfielder. Wow, he could. I could see him definitely at a top 6 club, 100%. Tottenham, it's got to be Heung-min Son. Could have chose Lucas Moura maybe. Harry Kane's definitely gone. Today, as of filming, second day in a row he's not turned up for training. He's gone. But Son, signing a new contract. The fans love him. He's unbelievable. We all know what a player Son is. Baller, absolute baller. One of the best on the left in the Premier League. So, I mean, he can play anywhere. We've seen Son play right, left, centre. You know, he can play anywhere on that top 3, but he's unbelievable. Yeah, he goes there for me. Watford, my team. Honourable mentions would be Kiko Femini or Francisco Sierralta, 2 defenders, solid. They will be next season as well, I think. But my one isn't going to be Ismail Assar, because that's too obvious. I think he's not even new. He's not a new signing. He's just come back. Cucho Hernandez. He looks okay, yeah, I'm basically off pre-season, but and I shouldn't do. But he looks very, very sharp, and he looks very, very up for it. And this is the 3rd year we've had him. The first 2 years we had him, we just loaned him out. We didn't care. And he has something to prove. He knows he has something to prove. He has to get his place in the squad. With João Pedro being injured and talks of him not playing for the first 2 to 3 games, there's a space on that left side for either Ken Sema or Cucho Hernandez. I think the ideal top 3 for our first game against Aston Villa could be Cucho Hernandez on the left, Troy Deeney in the middle, and Ismail Assar on the right. That would be my top 3 for Aston Villa in a 4-3-3 formation. So that's my Watford one. West Ham. I was going to say Declan Rice, but I'm going to go Souček. I think he's very good. He's very underrated. Good little run-in at the Euros he had as well. I thought he was very good in the Euros for Czech Republic. But for West Ham last season, towards the end of last season, I know you had Lingard, Declan, Antonio doing bits, but he was also in very good form towards the end of last season, and he carried that into the Euros, and I think he will carry that into this new Premier League season. So lastly, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Not too hard for me. I think the only reason I'm going to say this obvious one, Raul Jimenez, he's back from a scroll fracture. He's had, did he have the whole season out? Pretty much the whole season out. He's going to be more determined than ever to get back to where he was. Everyone talking about him goal scoring every single week. What a player he is. I think he'll really hit a really great form this season. So guys, that is each Premier League club's star player, in my opinion, who will pop off this season in this year's Premier League. If you like it, like the video, guys. Hit the subscribe button. I've got a lot more content coming up. There's a lot more videos coming up. I'm filming a lot in the upcoming weeks. So yeah, there'll be more videos, so look out for that so much. I will be back very soon with another video. So keep an eye out for that. Peace.